Welcome to the Geneva Motor Show right here on CNB. We've got lots of action for you on the program this week, hot off the stands here at Geneva. You'll get to see a few highlights, a few glimpses from the Geneva Motor Show this week. All the details are on the show next week, so no worries on that front. But you have to include something like this when you talk about chosen highlights, isn't it? Because, well, it doesn't get hotter than this. And here's a car that was anticipated, awaited at the Geneva Show. It is the Corvette Stingray, and you've got the coupe right here in absolutely hot red. And back there, looking a little bit humbler and perhaps a little duller, is the convertible. So getting a fair amount of attention here. But when you talk about the Chevrolet brand, well, this may be the flagship, but back home we've got a lot of models that are a lot humbler than this. The latest one to drive in was the Sail sedan, and we want to get into a few more details on that for you. Just how relevant is it to you as a buyer? What about its overall proposition and position in the market? Well, those are the details we want to quickly get into now on CNB, and well, here comes the face of the car. You simply got to take a look at that, and then I'll look at the Sail. When General Motors didn't find much success with the Aveo, it decided to replace it in India. Not with a new generation though, but a different car. The made-for-China Sail hatch and sedan. This car sits just below the global Aveo or Sonic family, and unlike China, where both are available by the way, in India, all we were getting was the no-frills car. The Sail hatch came first late last year. GM had a golden opportunity to price the car well below the popular Maruti Suzuki Swift, but frittered that away by trying to position the Sail Yuva as a premium hatch. But with the sedan, the company has wised up. It didn't quite happen with the Sail Yuva hatchback, but with the sedan, GM seems to have played it fairly smart. It's a reasonably smart package overall. The car is priced smart, and for sure, you've got to look at the car in terms of styling, also smart. So what's the missing link? Well, there doesn't seem to be a missing link really, but before we move on, I also want to make a quick point about the car's commercial on television. Also smart, because you see the child sitting in the back seat, so full marks to GM for that. But that's not what we're going to discuss on the program today. The sedan seems to have the right attributes to take on the market, but it's a stiff market because the rivals here are pretty strong. So now it's time to bring in the rivals that this car needs to take on in the market. The two most formidable products in an array of many cars that are on offer are indeed the Toyota Etios and then the bestseller, the Maruti Suzuki Swift Dzire. And yes, before you can say it, we know that there are others like the Ford Classic, Mahindra Verito and the Tata Indigo in the fray too. But we've got the two best sellers that the Sail needs to compete with here with us today. Now, if this was a beauty pageant, then this car would sail well past its rivals. Sharp looks, very good proportions, and nice bold face up front. Clearly the winner in the looks department. The Swift Dzire is also contemporary, but looks disproportionate. And the Etios is the ugly duckling in this group. For color, materials and the overall layout of the cabin, the Swift Dzire is by far the nicest of the three, but it misses out on a few little crucial points. The biggest one being the fact that it's not as spacious as the other two cars, and it doesn't have Bluetooth telephony, something that a lot of buyers now appreciate. However, you do get steering mounted controls and a much nicer dash layout overall. Now the plastics on this car have not been appreciated at all by the market, but in terms of space and what it does for comfort of its occupants, well, that's something that gets big points. The back seat is pretty comfortable, it's spacious, and you know what, a lot of buyers do like to sit back here, and they also like a lot of boot space. The Etios scores on both those points.
Now we want to quickly add here that we have it on good authority that both the Etios and Etios Leva are undergoing a major interior facelift. So on cabin, the Etios is expected to get stronger still. The Sail though has Bluetooth phone and iPod connectivity too. The Sail and Etios have good boot space, while the Swift Desire's boot can only just about be called one. A quick refresher on the engine specs, and remember, we are looking at the diesels only today. The Etios has the largest engine of this lot, but it isn't the highest in terms of power or torque. The unit is responsive though, and ample. On the Swift Desire, you get what Maruti calls DDIS, but in effect is the Fiat Multijet, tuned to offer 73.5 bhp, and I have to say it's very well tuned. It's the same engine pretty much on the Sail, but it's mated to a good gearbox and is tuned to offer a shade higher output.
Now we're comparing the diesels over here, and the Etios has a very ample engine, one that comes close to knocking these two out, but I have to say that there is a certain refinement and a certain quality that comes through on that Fiat Multijet unit that powers both the Swift Desire and the Chevy Sail, and so not just for that reason, but also for the fact that the car has a very good sense of handling, is pretty exciting to drive in that sense amongst the three. It doesn't feel light on its feet like the Swift, and so which is why I'm going to have to say that despite the overall cabin noise that you hear of this engine, overall in terms of performance, the Chevy Sail manages to go just a little bit ahead of the other two cars.
So it's fun to drive? Who would have thought? In fact, I will say this, that if the car had more attractive instrumentation, it would have been way ahead. It's funny how on the hatch side of things, the Swift is way sportier than the Sail Yuva. The Swift Desire though is sportier than the Etios, though the Etios feels like a bigger car while driving it in terms of ride quality. All three cars offer petrol variants and also have dual airbags and ABS standard at the top end. And now the prices. The Etios diesel has 4 variants starting at 6,90,000 rupees and going all the way to 8,39,000 rupees. Maruti Suzuki's Swift Desire is also smartly priced, starting at just under 6 lakh rupees and going to 7.5 lakh rupees. But remember, the Swift Desire is less than 4 meters long, and so it's the only one to get the excise duty benefit, which is why the prices of the Sail were a surprise. Starting at 6,29,000 rupees, its 4 variants going all the way to 7.5 lakh rupees. All these prices are ex-showroom Delhi. So there you go, with a compelling sticker price, a roomy cabin, a good drive and an efficient engine. Throw in the smart looks, the Sail wins this round hands down. And it would have been an even stronger winner had the cabin been nicer too. But there is fresh competition lurking as 2 more sub 4 meter cars are round the corner, the Mahindra Verito and Honda Amaze. So the action will hot up once again in a month or so.
Back to Geneva now for the top 10 launches, folks. Remember, we bring you the best of the show on detail next week. At the 10th spot, we have the new BMW 3 Series GT, a much nicer rendition of the GT idea than the 5 Gran Turismo. Next up is the Renault Captur. Very hot little crossover, isn't it? More on this next week. At number 8 is the new Coros brand from China that's making waves. And then you have the no-nonsense MQB-based 3rd generation Skoda Octavia. Very capable indeed, and in India by Diwali. The very hot Toyota FT86 convertible concept is in the 6th position. What a facelift! The new updated E-Class family is looking stunning at number 5. And now the hypercar trio from McLaren with the P1. Lamborghini with the very extreme Veneno, of which only 3 will be made. And the first hybrid sports car from Ferrari, the 963 horsepower LaFerrari. Again, much more later on the show. 499 of these will be made. If a new model from Ferrari is rare, a new Rolls-Royce is even rarer. The Goodwood-based car maker has taken the wraps off the Wraith. It's the fastest and most powerful Rolls-Royce made and features a coupe body style on the Ghost platform and is our number 1 for that reason. From our top 10 to the world's top products of the past year. As always, tradition entailed the announcement of the finalists for top honours for the World Car of the Year awards. From an initial entry list of 42 new vehicles from all over the world and then a short list of 10 finalists, the top contenders for the overall 2013 World Car of the Year title have been revealed. In alphabetical order, they are the Mercedes-Benz A-Class, the Porsche Boxster and Cayman, the Scion FRS, Subaru BRZ, Toyota 86, GT86 and the Volkswagen Golf. The top 3 finalists for the 2013 World Performance Car Award are the Ferrari F12 Berlinetta, once again the Porsche Boxster, Cayman, and also the combined entry of Scion FRS, Subaru BRZ, Toyota 86, GT86. The World Green Car Award finalists are the Renault Zoe, the Tesla Model S, and the Volvo V60 plug-in hybrid. And finally, the finalists for the World Car Design of the Year: Aston Martin Vanquish, Jaguar F-Type, Mazda 6.
Now, the Boxster S was indeed the CNB Sports Car of the Year at the awards this year, and the twin here, the Cayman, certainly making waves as well in Europe. So both these cars, it's nice to see them featuring in that list of finalists when it comes to the World Car of the Year, and not just in the performance category, but overall. Remember, last year the 911 was also in the running for World Car of the Year, and you got a second sports car this year, the Toyota 86. So good to see that, and we'll have the results for you also. It's not just the short list. The jury, the rest of the jurors and myself included, we voted already, remember. So the results, well, we'll have them for you from the New York Auto Show in just a few weeks' time, right here on the program. It is time for a short break. We're back with more. Welcome back. CNB comes to you this week all the way from Geneva in Switzerland, and the good thing about the Geneva Motor Show is that it's not just the big automobile manufacturers. You also get to see some of the niche players when it comes to small design studios, people who do a lot of car tuning, and then of course you've got the coach builders. All of that action is pretty interesting here as well, and different to what we're used to. All of that is also on the program next week, but in the meanwhile, let's get right back to our market. There's also an event that happens every year in India, and this is the Mahindra Great Escape. We have ourselves quite a ball there with all the fun in the sand. Let's show you the action from this year's event.
On since 1996, the annual Mahindra Great Escape has only gained in popularity. And this year was the big one. So to celebrate a century of Great Escape challenges, Mahindra wanted to make this edition really special. And so over 65 Mahindra SUVs, from the Thar to the Scorpios to the Boleros, gathered for some off-roading fun on the sands of Manwar, near Jodhpur in Rajasthan. And the folks behind the wheel were a good mix of motoring journalists, corporates and some celebrities. There was excitement and some nerves in the air as the SUVs made their way from the flag-off point to the dunes. What lay ahead for the 4x4s was a 43-kilometer ride with some steep inclines and drops and lots of sand. It was quite an adrenaline-kicking drive with the SUVs really being put to the test on the slippery sand. But that's usually what you come to expect at these great escapes now, isn't it? The terrain looked quite menacing, but the participants, which included both amateurs and professionals, looked ready for the challenge. Some of them negotiated the dunes smoothly, while some were not so lucky. Driving on the sand took some time to get used to, but soon most drivers managed to navigate their SUVs over the tricky surface. Going uphill looked easy enough compared to the drop down the dunes with the foot off the brakes. But then without this thrill, the Great Escape just wouldn't be fun now, would it? And slow and steady, the SUV slid down smoothly enough. As a grand finale of sorts, the Mahindra Adventure Rally team drivers showed off their sand driving skills on the XUV and the Thar. A perfect end to an action-packed day on the desert. And the Mahindra SUVs sure looked like they had more fun than the participants. We hope the location and the organization is just as good, if not better, next year.
Now here's a car that's gotten itself so much attention, positive attention, all around the world. The last few months, everyone's talking about the Tesla Model S, and why not? It's also gone and got itself shortlisted for the World Green Car Award. You saw that. So all of that is perhaps fitting, and the kind of success Tesla has had with the Model S, even though it's a niche player, gives it the confidence to start talking about other cars, taking that electric drivetrain into different body styles, different kind of products. Here you see an urban SUV crossover concept. There are 7 seats, and of course we'll have to wait and see what a production car might look like. But it's good to see that kind of bold thinking coming from manufacturers like this. Pretty stylish up front as well, won't you say? And well, there's plenty more to expect on the program next week from Geneva. I'll leave you with that thought. You've got to write in with all your feedback. And remember, please keep your seatbelts fastened. Please wear your helmets. And if you're driving, please avoid using your cell phone. Bye-bye.